Welcome to the most deleted, shadow banned, demonetized, censored, and trolled channel on social media. Recipient of the Patriot Warrior Purple Q Award. Hello, this is Dave from Net4Truth USA, Inglorious Patriots. It is November 20th, 2025, and the time now is 0:40 hours Eastern Time here in beautiful southern North Carolina. Well, we're about to see, hopefully, allegedly, maybe, we're about to see the Jeffrey Epstein Files, whatever that is. I've been following this for a long time, folks. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. He is still alive in Witsec somewhere as an asset of the Israeli Mossad or something, because they say his operations were related to national security. Well, my question is, what kind of national security involves the sexual abuse of hundreds of young girls? Well, that question probably will never be answered. As I said before, if Jeffrey Epstein was really dead, there would be a dead man switch. And since there is no dead man switch, that proves beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty in my field that this guy is still running around somewhere, probably in Bahrain with a facelift and a nose job, running a 7-Eleven, getting paid by people who can't afford to have this shit come out. If you've seen pictures of Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell with all of his orange jumpsuits, they say it's linen. It's not linen. There's no orange linen. Orange is for jumpsuits. Okay? You don't get orange linen in jail. And you certainly don't get 20 jumpsuits that you can just throw around in your cell and just have material to work with to string yourself up. Anyway, sitting here sipping on my triple latte. That Bustelo is the shit, let me tell you. And I'm thinking about this and I'm saying, well, Trump really played them like a cheap guitar. They were screaming about, hey, let the Epstein Files out, let the Epstein Files. Oh, you won't let them out because you're on the thing, you're on the video, you're on the list. And then he turns around and says, all right, let's go, let's do it. Let's drop the whole shit. And now they're shitting their pants because the shit's going to really drop. Hopefully. Allegedly. I don't know, all the senators except one voted for it, so if you're on that list, you're screwed, Jack. I want to know where all the hard drives went. Because if you got a hard drive, if you have a hard drive with Senator so-and-so, even though he may be fucked up out of his mind on drugs or something, in bed with a 14-year-old, you can go up to that senator and you can say, see this? You're going to vote this way. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And he's going to have no choice. He has no choice. That's the whole idea and the whole crux of this whole thing. That's why he's intelligence. He's in intel. He's a spook. He's an operative. He's a puppet of the deep state. Whoever has those tapes has those hard drives that they took out of Epstein Island. And we all saw pictures of it. And Jesse on Fire puts a tape up of that guy, I don't know, remember his name, that flew the drone over Epstein's Island. And Epstein's sitting there in the Jeep, and he's looking up at the drone. And here's Epstein after he committed suicide. He's looking up at the drone. And that doesn't even take into account the piece that Stoney and I did way back, when we caught Google scrubbing a CNBC article that said that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in a North Vietnamese war bunker. So this isn't the first time they try to fake his death. But when we caught them doing it, they took my channel down and they scrubbed that shit off the internet. It was gone. They replaced the video with another video about a North Vietnamese war bunker, and I'll leave that link in the description. You can watch that video and find out that we were way ahead of this shit before anybody else. And I saw that picture of the drone flying over and Epstein looking up years ago. So this shit that's new to everybody else. Me and Stoney and Sean already knew about this. Nothing gets past us, folks. Nothing. Now, I'm sitting here with a house full of boxes because I'm looking for a new house. I got more stuff here than I can fit in this double wide, and I'm looking for a 4-bedroom, at least 2,000 square feet. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's supported this channel over the years. And if you look down in the description, you'll find a lot of links that'll save you a lot of money on some very good products. And I'm not going to take up your time with advertisements and sponsors and all that kind of stuff. I don't do it. I don't do that in the middle. I put it at the end. Because I'm not in this for the money. The money's nice. If I get a couple of bucks from here and there, it'd be good, you know. It helps. It's a lot of time that goes into doing the research, and even more time going into cutting and editing these videos than you might imagine. So don't think that this is not work. This is a lot of work. Trust me. All right. Back in August, I sent a FOIA request for the photo that must exist. That photo being the coroner's photo of Jeffrey Epstein hanging from this non-existent bunk bed in a special housing unit. Because there is no bunk beds in special housing, especially if you're on suicide watch. And if you're on suicide watch, you don't get orange jumpsuits, and you certainly don't get 20 of them that you can throw around your cell willy-nilly. That doesn't happen. That does not happen. Somebody went in there and got him out. Because the dead guy that they showed on the stretcher being taken out, first of all, you ain't moving no body without a body bag. And second of all, his ears and his nose didn't match, so it wasn't him. Jeffrey Epstein is alive and well somewhere, being paid to not show his face anywhere until his plastic surgery healed. And then he's probably sitting there in Bahrain somewhere running a 7-Eleven, happy as a pig in shit. You know. But anyway, I'm going to show you the original FOIA request with the original video following me here. And you decide why they won't answer. If the guy's really dead, show me a picture of this dead dude hanging from the bunk bed that doesn't exist in special housing. Show me that picture. Maybe I'll believe it. But with AI these days, you never know what the truth is anymore. Watch this. I thought I'd research the procedures, which I already know, but I wanted third-party verification of what is the procedure that must happen when a prisoner commits suicide in his jail cell. So I decided to ask Microsoft's Copilot. I asked, when a prisoner commits suicide by hanging himself in his jail cell, what is the procedure that must be followed before the body is moved? Now, if you recall, if you're keeping up with this, all we've seen is pictures of a jail cell with all these jumpsuits strewn about and all this garbage all over the place. And that doesn't seem to jive with the facts here, but be that as it may, here is how Microsoft Copilot responded. When a prisoner dies by suicide, especially by hanging in a jail cell, there's a strict and sensitive protocol that correctional staff must follow before the body can be moved. Here's a general outline of what typically happens. Immediate response. Secure the scene. The cell is treated as a potential crime scene. Staff must avoid disturbing anything unnecessarily. And I might add, the prison is locked down when this happened. The whole place is locked down. Call for medical help. Paramedics or on-site medical personnel are summoned immediately to assess the situation and attempt resuscitation if possible. Now, may I add, by the time they get there, if the guy is still alive while he's hanging, he's dead by the time anybody gets there, but that's beside the point. Notify supervisors. The shift supervisor and facility administrators are alerted right away. Investigative procedures. Preserve evidence. All items in the cell, including the ligature and any notes or personal belongings, are documented and preserved. Photograph and document. The scene is photographed thoroughly before any movement of the body. We haven't seen any pictures of this dude's body hanging from a bunk bed, which I maintain is total horseshit. Coroner or medical examiner. The body cannot be moved until the coroner or medical examiner arrives and authorizes it. You got that? Medical examiner has to authorize movement of the body. They can't cut it down. They can't move it. They can't do shit. They determine the cause of death and collect forensic evidence. Reporting and documentation. Incident report. Staff must file detailed reports, including time of discovery, actions taken, and any witness statements. Mental health referral. A behavioral observation and mental health referral form is often completed to document any prior signs of distress or suicidal behavior. Well, we can go back to one of my videos that I did back in 2019 that shows Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in a North Vietnamese war bunker on June 25th, 2019. But that's beside the point. I'll leave that link in the description. Internal review. Administrative investigation. The facility conducts an internal review to determine if protocols were followed and whether preventative measures were in place. Policy evaluation. Suicide prevention policies may be reassessed, especially if the inmate had previously shown signs of risk. These steps are designed to ensure transparency, accountability, and respect for the deceased, while also helping prevent future incidents. If you're curious about how difficult jurisdictions handle or want to explore suicide prevention measures in correctional facilities, I can dig deeper. And I told it to write a Freedom of Information Act request to Metropolitan Correctional Facility in Brooklyn, demanding a copy of the coroner's photograph of Jeffrey Epstein's body hanging from his bunk before the body was moved. In the letter, cite all applicable protocols cited above. Okay, Microsoft Copilot wrote me a letter, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Okay, here's the letter. Dated tomorrow, which is when I'm going to mail it, to the FOIA officer, Metropolitan Detention Center, Brooklyn, New York, 80 29th Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11232. Subject: FOIA request for coroner's photograph and custodial death of Jeffrey Epstein. Dear FOIA officer, pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act, 5 U.S. Code 522, I hereby request access to and a copy of the coroner's photograph documenting the body of Jeffrey Epstein as found in his cell, specifically prior to any movement of the body. I am requesting the images taken by forensic or investigative personnel that reflect the scene as originally discovered. This request pertains to standard correctional protocols typically followed in such incidents, which include securing and preserving the scene as a potential crime site, photographic documentation of the cell and body prior to movement, consistent with investigative and forensic procedure, authorization by the medical examiner or coroner before any relocation of the body, incident and administrative reporting, including official visual records maintained during internal reviews. The requested material is of public interest given the extraordinary circumstances surrounding Mr. Epstein's death and the implications for transparency, institutional accountability, and correctional facility protocol adherence. Disclosure of this photograph serves to verify that the proper procedures were followed and helps inform public understanding of the federal custodial standards. If any portion of this request is denied, please provide a written explanation citing the specific statutory exemptions and explain how the exemption applies. I request that any reasonably segregable portion of the material be provided. If there are fees associated with this request, kindly inform me in advance of processing. Thank you kindly for your time and assistance. I look forward to your prompt response as stipulated by FOIA guidelines. Let's see if we get any response to this FOIA request. This is Dave from Net4Truth, USA, Inglorious Patriots. Thank you very much for watching. This is Dave from Net4Truth, USA, Inglorious Patriots, and I am Charlie Kirk. Ever since the Great Awakening, thousands of content creators like myself have been burning the midnight oil well into the wee hours of the morning, and millions of us who are awake are not getting enough sleep. Everyone knows that a good night's sleep is essential for efficient functioning of the cognitive processes that enable a person to discern truth from fiction and deep state-induced woke dementia. Well, years before I was asked to be an advertiser for My Pillow, I have been using their products. The first product I used was, of course, the pillows. I was impressed with the comfort, and I was able to fall off to sleep almost immediately rather than having to fight a bag of foam and trying to get comfortable. The pillowcases and Giza sheets are absolutely the bee's knees, and I have sets for the 2 beds I have in my home. Another thing is their body pillow. I suffer from a lumbar spine injury that is exacerbated by my preference to sleep on my side. Having the body pillow to roll onto alleviates the pressure and mitigates the discomfort, allowing me to fall asleep quickly. Mike Lindell, a great American patriot, has an entire line of quality products that everyone should try. Once you sleep with the pillows and sheets, you'll throw the ones you have in the garbage or donate them to Goodwill. If you go to www.mypillow.com, there is a link in the description. As a viewer and subscriber to this channel, you can buy anything in the store for 66% off. That's 1/3 of the retail price. Just fill your shopping cart and use promo code N4T at the checkout. Take it from me, folks, I've been using Mike Lindell's products since 2015. There is nothing like them on the market, and I say this with 71 years of sleeping experience. Don't forget, use promo code N4T at checkout.